we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
What up, what up, what up? Here we are live. First Descendant. It's been a while since I've done a live stream on First Descendant, but I do play daily. I do. So, as you can see on my summer attendance, I am up to date. So, I am day 30 attended, and this caps out at 42. So, we're right about there. But, yeah, so I've been keeping up to date with this. And then also making sure I get all the rewards. This is a fun little way to interact with the game. Actually, tons of rewards come out of these. So which is cool. And then, yeah, just making sure all my characters are in tune for next season. And right now, the guy that I want to make sure is in tune before the season, we got time, there's no hurry, but is Jaber, because they're going to rework him completely. And so that's supposed to come at the beginning. So I'm excited for that. So anyways, what we got today is a weapon rebalance. So they improved a lot of the weapons. And one of the ones I'm really excited about is the perforator. So they increased the damage coming off of its unique ability, its special powers. So look at that, 65%. It was 30%. So it basically, when you hit a weak point or you crit, is it crits? Yeah, crits and weak points. It causes basically a meteor shower on that target, and they were 30%. Those meteor hits. This is a very strong weapon, and now it's that, right? 65. So more than double. And then what they did is they increased the, I think it was the weak point damage. Yeah. So they made it base at like 5%, basically 5.5%, something like that, which is fucking huge. That's huge. 5x, right? That's like 500% crit damage, if you think about it that way. Yeah, well, you know, they keep trying with Jaber, but they just, all these minor little tweaks are just not working. Red Steel, appreciate that sub, bro. And so he requires a rework, you know, complete rework. And they've been trying to buff him here and buff him there. It's just, nope, it's just not doing it. His turrets, the problem with Jaber is his turrets are stagnant and the game is constantly moving. So he, you know, you drop his turrets, and they made it deploy and cancel faster, so that's good. But you know, you drop his turret. By the time you drop his turrets, the fight's over and everybody's moving on to the next checkpoint. You know, so it's just like, I think his turrets need to hover around him. They need to be autonomous. But hey, I don't know. We'll see. So that's one of the exciting things that they changed. They also made the Volsha stronger. They gave it some attribute damage. I don't have it here, but the Calvian Albury got a 33% crit chance, up from 30 for the Ricochet. What else got buffed? That was interesting. The Nazistra got a big buff. Oh, this one, not the Last Dagger. The Final Measure. That weapon got a buff, and I'm excited for that one because it's a really cool weapon. I used it a lot on Gley. And the Thunder Cage got an increase on its explosion damage. That makes it more interesting, but it's just stronger. But this gun's cool. It basically puts out status effects, so you can have electricity or even explosions. So that one's cool. We're going to test that one. The Kingsguard Lance got stronger. It's not my favorite weapon, but it's doing quite a bit more damage. And I think I'm going to have to build up my Greg's Reverse Fate, because Nell looks like she runs pretty good with that. So we'll see. And then they did buff Divine Punishment, but I don't have this thing built out. So I don't know if I'm going to get to that today. So that's the gist on the weapon side. So, and then let's log out. And then I'll show you the demo. So they're giving us a taste of what to expect in season 3, which is Breakthrough. So the devs have really been open and have recognized that the game lacks end game content. You know, because this game pulls from Warframe, from the first Destiny, and the Division 2. So you have these 3 characters you can choose from for the demo. So this is Nell, she's the new one. And so
all the cards on the battlefield.
You know, those are grind heavy games. You know what I mean? And so because this is a new game, it's basically like where the Division 1 was. Or Warframe in the very beginning when they had a concept, but they hadn't fleshed it out with the audience. And that's what this game has been struggling with for the last year. Like, it's a great concept. People love it. There's some really cool things in the game. Love the builds. Love the Descendants. But, you know, they had a lot of balancing issues, and then the content just gets smashed because of the balancing issues, basically. They had grind issues early on. Those are all gone. Grinding is easy. So it's coming together. You know, it's coming together. It's a question of time, right, with these games. And so that's where we're at, is like the devs just kind of came down to like, okay, look, we're going to put the updates on hold because season 3 was supposed to land, I think back in June, maybe even May. And they decided to put it on hold because they were like, look, we get it. We need to, just like with the Jaybird thing, it's enough of these small tweaks. Let's get to the bone of this and fix it. And so that's what season 3 is supposed to be. That's why it's a big deal. And that it's supposed to resolve these end game issues and kind of set the pace for what's going. It's not going to all happen like this launches on August 7th, so it's not going to all happen on August 7th. So they are doing big monthly releases for the season. But for example, they're going to have Nier Automata collaboration. That's going to be in August, along with this new content in August. They got new game systems for like your builds and power-ups and stuff. In October, they're bringing swords to the game, which is going to be badass. I wish that was coming in August, but I'm sure there's a lot to that. So they're coming out with a new module system, like a way to add special effects, like damage effects coming from your builds. It's like an additional skill almost. So there's so much to this game, and there's so much to look forward to. But the question is still content depth. You know, and then they had story issues, and they've been fixing that. The story has gotten a lot better, actually. The question is depth, and that's what the demo. The demo, I'm not sure is from my first impression that it's going to demonstrate the depth. Actually, I don't think it does. It's more going to demonstrate the balance and quality of things, if that makes sense. So let's get into it. That's my spiel so far. So let's use her. So we're gonna get a fully beefed up character here. We don't have any inversion reinforcement, and I didn't even look at the arcade tuning. Let's see here. So this is all them. They set this all up, right? So you can change it if you want to, but they gave us all the weapon damage buffs here. And then this is when defeating an enemy has a chance to grant cohesion to self, some more skill power. Okay. And then everything else is weapon damage, basically. It's all weapon damage stuff. So, pretty cool. And then you have the ability to customize if you want to. So, this is her build. So, these are new weapons. These are new, basically exotic weapons, if you want to call them that. And then this one's existed. So, but it works good for her. This one's called Eraser. It's actually pretty cool. If you're familiar with Eugen's ability, where he's got that burst damage, like it's like a poison he puts out, basically. It's kind of like that. It's like an effervescent poison. They call it an enzyme, basically. And so it's pretty cool, very strong. It's a stacking damage thing, so it's fire damage times 23%. You can stack 15 times, which is a lot of stacks. You're forced in scope though, so this is mostly for heavies. Good weapon for heavies. And then let's go back. as far as they got toxic damage built onto this for the most part, and then crits. And then this is the Exterminator, which is basically a special weapon. What it does is give you additional power against heavy systems like bosses and then warships, drop-off ships. So that's basically what this is all saying. So these are the damage buffs you get against them. So it's just an efficient launcher for specific targets. So assault ships, you do 1,000 more damage. So with Gley, the reload's a little bit painful on this. So that's why like you don't want to run it full time with somebody like Nell, but with Gley, maybe you could. But I don't think it would offer you a ton of perks for using it on mobs. You know what I mean? We might have better explosive weapons you would choose over this, but for special I guess ordnance against these assault ships and these razor claws and steel pincers, then this is a good weapon. So the razor claw and steel pincers are new bosses. They're like almost like lieutenants. You know, they're big, they're scary, they're fast, and they're lethal. So they're really fun to fight, actually. So you're going to see that in a minute. And then that's the reactor. It looks like they're using a non-attribute fusion reactor. They got cooldown and range. And this is a new external component set that's bringing mostly weak point damage. And then there's a little AoE happening here, too. So there's some ricochet damage that happens. And so basically, you don't have to think about it, right? Just hit with her power. Her special powers is that all her weapon damage will count as weak point damage. So that's gonna allow you to build stacks and then create collateral damage, basically through ricochets. So let's look at her kit. I don't have her kit completely down, so I'm working through this. But pretty cool. So they have, you know, damage, focus on tech, focus on an attribute, and then range and a lot of range here. So shot focus is more weapon damage. Yeah, that's it. We don't have access to her exotic modules, so we'll get those. They're called Transcendants. So breach is a projectile, basically. So you want to use this with your scanner, your sieve scanner. So scan them, and then they're going to get an additional damage. But so this is just damage. But if you sieve, then they're going to get additional damage and something called Gaze of the Abyss. Cooldown reduction, that's another one of her skills. So by using this, you're earning cooldown reduction for another skill. So you want to use this all the time. And then there's explosion damage range and burst damage, and you know, it's just damage. Okay, and then breach is like slowing the enemies down. So creates an arch breach at a designated location, inflicts a debuff on enemies near the created arcade breach, and spawns an anti-gravity field on the ground. So like it's like pulling the enemies in, not completely, but enough to like slow them down. And then they get damage also. And then you can cancel it, and if you cancel it, it causes an explosion in that zone. So there's stacks, so up to 5 stacks, so basically the longer they're in there. And then they get an incoming weak point damage per stack. So the longer they're in there, then the more your damage is gonna multiply. Enhanced intervals, so range, and the max expandable range is 300%, which is really high. That's like really good in this game. Continuous damage, and then cooldown return. So if you call back the skill, it's going to credit you 90% of the time that's left to your cooldowns. So you basically use it back to back. Now, gravitic reversal is basically like a vacuum. It'll suck the enemies into a little ball. That's what that does. But these cancel each other out. I don't know if that's intended. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So if you have this one out, the breach link, and you use gravitic reversal, it cancels out the breach link. Maybe because it's redundant. I don't know. But I feel like you should be able to have both. Because this one is giving you more weak point damage too. And this one doesn't do that. I don't know. So I can't tell if that's a bug or not. We'll see. But this is really cool. We really like this one. Suck all the enemies in and then hit them with a really strong AoE weapon. That's the idea of it. So you don't have to aim because you just got a big ball of enemies. So far, so good. I mean, here, let me go through this and then I'll tell you my reaction on her. Skill description. So this one, basically, by activating this, you get more weak point damage increase. Sort of like Sharen, when she goes invisible, she gets just damage increase. It's the same concept, except it's 35% increase in weak point damage. Duration 14 seconds, which you can increase it first. It looks like, and then hitting a target inflicted with an Deceive scan, so a scan target or pulse, with a breach shard increases the duration of the gaze of the abyss. Okay, so yeah, you basically always want to be scanning and always want to be shooting your first skill. All right, finally, it's her passive. Let's see here. Using a C. So the second part is the encryption storage box part on the right. The second part of that. That's all about hacking the vaults. She gets the same kind of bonuses as Enzo. So for damage in combat, we're looking at the first part. So Deceive scan, it boosts to scan up to 13 targets, and then you get more range. Damage, skill power times 100%. With this build, it's at 65%. So using an Deceive on enemies in the front inflicts a Deceive scan on enemies in the front. Okay, so they get damage just from you using the Deceive, even if you didn't use any other skill. Attacking enemies afflicted deals additional damage. And then there's additional damage from number 1 also. And then there's this, it's the second part of that paragraph on the left is basically talking about how to aim the scan. And it's mostly for like bosses or bossing. If you want the scan to hit a particular weak point, you can guarantee it by aiming your reticule. That's what it is. Appreciate it, noob. So yeah, it's like Lepic. That's right, Pipster. The traction is like Lepic. Not as powerful, I gotta say, but pretty cool. So so far, I love her skills. I'm still figuring out the combination, the flow. But the one thing I did notice is like your hands are really busy, sort of like Enzo. She's a lot like Enzo that way. Like if you've ever used Enzo, he's a really good Descendant, also a gun Descendant, and he buffs the team while she debuffs the enemies. So together they work really well, if you can imagine. She debuffs the enemies, he buffs the team. So, but your hands are really busy because you're always casting. And so it makes it a juggle a little bit for actually shooting, you know, because you're always casting your skills because there's a lot of enemies. There's a lot of enemies, right? A lot of them. And so you have to manage them. And so you have to debuff them, you have to manage them, and then you have to kill them. So I'm noticing that there's a lot of casting going on. So you're doing a lot of that. And so what gets me is the reloads. You know, so you fire and then you have to cast a skill and that breaks your reload, so you don't actually get the reload. And then you have to start the animation over again. So she's cool, but I just got to figure that out. So let's check her out. So we want to pulse, right? So you can take out the ships before they drop their dudes. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I got one of them there. So that's her number 2 right there, and it's got a duration. If I cancel it, causes that's considered an explosion, so enemies would be exploded. But check this out. So if I throw out my number 2, so the enemies would be debuffed, so they'll be like walking really slow. And then her number 3, Y, is the traction. You see, it canceled number 2, but then I can put my number 2 back out, and that canceled my number 3. You see, they kind of cancel each other. And then finally, if you get the combination right, you can have them both out at the same time, which is what you would want. So it's almost like you gotta use your number 3 or Y first if you can. But as you can see, it's not even available. And I think that's because it's waiting for number 3. Or her number 2, sorry. So let's see here. It says detonating an arcade breach causing gravitic reversal. This pulls an enemy. Yeah, so detonates an arcade breach. So that's what it's saying. It is saying that this is the arcade breach. So they do work in tandem. So it's not a bug. Okay, I'm just figuring that out myself. So it's not a bug. There's no farm so far for her because this is a demo, so they just give it to me. So you can just jump in the demo, it's free, and you get a fully upgraded, you don't even have to create a build. See these elevations, how they missed them? Kind of slow. You gotta shoot these nests. The nests is where it's like a portal, but it also gives the enemies special debuffs. So right now what I'm trying to do is just manage them so that I can finish off this thing. Really good at killing those drop ships. Okay, here's one of these bosses. He's a badass. Reload this fucker. He's a fucking badass. So he's shielded. That's a big ass shield. Okay, so let me switch to this weapon. Let's get the party started. So it was worth it building up those buffs, right? So we just obliterated him. Let's store it in the nest. No. Fighting audioless. Weapon for sure on her, but it's for those ones. All right, got all of them. But it's scary. Goes on the ground. Yeah, I kind of like those bosses. They make the fight more interesting. It's a matter of priorities. Okay, so we're done with this phase. Give me a quick second. I gotta change. Bye. Ears. Joe, you didn't see her an option? Yeah, there's only 3 options. How many options do you see? Are you in the demo? Oh, that's weird. Only Bunny and Freyna, huh? Can I? Descendant. Yeah, see how she's the first one right there.
All the cards on the battlefield.
Does it? Do you see that little number over there? Does it say 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 10? That is weird. Maybe reload. I don't know. Restart. It says 2 out of 2, huh? The hell? That's fucking weird. I mean, I didn't do anything special at all, you know? Let's see if any of these impact it. God, Joe, I don't know, man. It's weird. Yeah, I didn't do anything special, so that's just some sort of load glitch. It won't show the other descendants either, so you just see the 2. Huh. Yeah, that's basically the first thing that happens. You load in, and before you even drop, for me, it makes you pick a descendant. So you see the axion, you know, still image of the loading screen, and then it goes right to pick a descendant. So as you can see, she's really. So I was trying to manage the crowd, and I'm casting all these skills, and then it catches me in a reload, and this weapon has got a slow fucking reload. You know. What is the reload on this thing? Yeah, look at that. 4-second reload. That sucks. A good weapon, though, by the way. It's a poison dealer. The rest of this is just for show, and this is where I feel like the demo falls short. This is kind of where I get disappointed because you don't do much here. So this is just a tutorial on how to use the hover bike. So there's your hover bike. So you can call it on the fly. So you can be mid-jump. It jumps still. I mean, so that is pretty cool. That's smooth. You can phase into it, but you can't do anything while on it. You can cast some skills, like a speed skill or something like that, or a debuff skill, but you can't shoot or anything like that. So I could go like, I don't know. It's not letting me do it. They said you could do that, though. Huh. I didn't try that yet, but in their discussion, they said you could cast a skill. Maybe they changed their mind, or it's not available yet. Okay, so then you got a speed boost, and then you got jump. Pretty simple. They'll probably expand capabilities in the future. And then there's 3 different bikes. There's this one. This is the only one you get in the demo, though, but there's this one, which is the speed one, I think, and then there's a balance bike, and then there's a base bike. Yeah, let me know if that works, Joe, when you get a chance. So this is the new boss. Oh, Wall Crusher. Big as shit, as you can see. So he's way bigger than any other dude we got. Can't even jump over now. Yeah, you can't jump over. He's fucking big. So they're just kind of giving you a preview of what kind of mechanics to expect. That's basically all that's happening here. And I think they're good mechanics. They're simple. This is an 8-man raid. So you're going to be able to fight with 7 other players here. We've got weak points. So I've also noticed that the demo is acting a little inconsistent. There's actually audio that's being said there. Story audio saying, hey, we need you to scan him.
Do you read me? A powerful void storm is approaching the Axian plains.
Bunny skins? I haven't purchased any bunny skins, actually. I don't think. I got 3 bunny skins for her, though. The ones that they gave in the rewards track. I think last season.
Energy readings are approaching.
I do want to buy
level.
her
Evacuate to safety before it's too late.
her ultimate, though, because I like the helmet. But I like her current ultimate base. Her premium skin is what I meant. But I like her ultimate base. Yeah, so this new arena, there's a lot that they're not showing here. So, you basically get like signs from the apocalypse while you're fighting in this field axion.
Descendant.
And so you can fight other Colossus too.
Dimensional breach in progress. I repeat, dimensional breach. Colossus inbound.
That spawn in field.
Nell, what's happening?
And then you fight them on your journey to fight this big guy. And he's on some sort of timer. And so when he spawns, other people, the game will merge you with other players. And so other players can join in even mid-fight against him. Which is pretty cool. So this field, Axion, is meant to be a one all. I don't know how to describe it, but like all rewards will be available in this one field. Everything the game offers. So things like 400% dungeons are going to be considered like side newbie missions, basically, compared to this. Like new player content. This is the start of the new endgame. If that makes sense. Where before the 400% dungeons were endgame, yeah, those aren't even part of the equation anymore. Does that make sense? So, and that's the end of the demo basically here.
All investigative personnel have withdrawn.
So it's cool, but it's cool. You know what I mean? The demos, it's nice to see, to participate in this upfront fight mostly. But
Ready to be.
it doesn't give me a glimpse at the resolve of the bigger issue, which is content depth, endgame content depth, which is where fan service games often lack for Western players. For Eastern trends, that fan service can alone be sufficient and drive the game. In Western trends, it's often that the player base gets disappointed and feels that the game is shallow and doesn't have the depth in content or story. And so that's where we are, right? And that's what this is resolving, except because the demo is so short, I feel like I'm just kind of, you know, I'm glad they did it, but it's not showing me the what it's really going to be doing. It's more showing the quality.
Are you?
And what I mean by quality is like the mechanics behind Wall Breaker is really important, because we've had Colossus that were too difficult for random public matchmaking, where, you know, you had people that didn't know what they were doing and they were making it really hard, and you knew what you were doing and making it really easy, and the coordination is just not there. And so for an 8-man raid, you know, they're kind of demonstrating like, hey, this is going to be achievable with 8 players, you know. What up, Dark? You got the big horn. It's all good, man. It's all good. Just say what you got to say, brother. So, so they're showing us that, and so I'm glad to see that. And I don't need to do that thing full, not right now. But what I would like to see at this stage is the expansiveness of Axion fields. You know, like how big is it? How many zones? You know, and it's supposed to be big. That's the point of the jetpack, right? The jetpack is supposed to get you from A to B and C to D because it's so big. But we're only getting a little stage and a little demonstration of what the fights are and a couple of bosses, which I like. I like that part of this, you know. And then of course you get to test out Nell, but Nell's not part of the problem or the solution, right? So Nell's just another Descendant. We got great Descendants. Our lineup is amazing, you know? Like, most of these are very playable. You have your favorites, you got your not favorites, right? But they're all very playable except for Jaber. So it's like the Descendant. So I feel like a lot of this is focused on Nell, and which is neat and it's a nice experience, but you know, it's not what we need. Okay, let's get out of here. It's pretty cool, man, Pips. If you haven't played in a while, man, they fixed a lot of the issues. I mean, like, first of all, new players or even returning players, they may not even get what I'm talking about when it comes to content depth being the issue, because you have to get there. Content depth being an issue is, for most part, it's like what we experienced in the Division 2. It's a veteran problem, right? The problem is you get to that veteran stage very early in this game because it's not fleshed out. You know, like Division 2 launched in a pretty good place for endgame, right? Because they learned from Division 1. But Division 1 launched, and I mean, I quit Division 1 because there wasn't anything to do. There was literally nothing to do. And then eventually they rolled out patches, right? But they already lost me when they rolled out those patches. I never did Underground, you know, because they lost me. That's where the first Descendant's doing, right? They lost a bunch of people because people are like, I love this game. There's nothing else to do. I got to move on. Okay, so let's check out some of the new weapons now. That's what I'm excited to test. Let's try Sharen. So we're gonna test out her new perforator. She's already built out, so I'm gonna start with her, and then let's make sure this is good. So we got that. All right. And what we'll do is go into Avoid Erosion Purge and see how it improves her clear time on that. She's not fast at this regularly. She's what do you call it? Like proficient, but not efficient compared to Serena. Right on, Harley. What do you think? Tip of the iceberg for you then, huh? Which character are you dug in at right now? Did you get a chance to get Ultimate Bunny up front? So those are the meteors I was talking about. I'm gonna get accustomed to the gameplay style. With her, you want to hit with these. The electric burst. It causes a debuff effect. But they have to be at 100% health in order to get that. Let's strike them first. Meteors feel good. So that's what they increase. They increase the weak point damage and then the meteor damage. Predator. She's my favorite character. I use her a lot. Even though Serena's faster, I just love her playstyle.
Entering stealth.
Not bad on pace. And she can shoot through walls. Fucking badass. At range. I didn't use that skill. It's happening. That guy in the middle. You're still alive.
Stealth state.
Yeah, I'm an Xbox. Yeah, so this game is free. Use this game. Wow, this is a big change. I can tell. The collateral damage, basically. But they're going down a lot faster from those headshots. My little homie, a little Tito. Shoot a health pack. See, I actually have her built as a glass cannon. I might not have any health.
Stealth stage.
So she also recently got a buff where it increases speed.
Entering stealth stage.
Little guy. That, huh? There's one guy that deploys the shield.
You are primary. Entering stealth stage. You are primary.
Where is he? Big boss.
Initiating stealth.
Oh, you fucking got me. Damn it. We're almost done. It's hard to get that headshot in it. It's got big neck pad. That sniper. And so when he turns around, I don't want to shoot him. I think that feels pretty good, man. That weapon buff. What up, Sarah? There was no bike, Sarah? Yeah, it's a little wishy-washy. I was having the audio come in and out. What up, Skelly? They'll resolve that stuff pretty quick. I think the demo's going to be around for a while. But they're pretty good about their patches. One of the things I'm happy about. Rizzy! That's good. Okay, so that's that weapon. Let's go to... let's switch over to Gley. Oh, wait, let me show you. Let me see her Descendant module setup. Yeah, so we did that like completely glass cannon. She's got no health. Got no health on her. 8,000, which is really low. We do have good health coming out of this, otherwise. But yeah, so... and that's because she can go invisible, right? So that makes it nice. All right, let's try Gley. We're going to try... Put him back on... Final Masterpiece. It's been a while since I've used this, so I don't even know if the mods are at a good place, but Sharp Precision Shot looks good. Let's see here. Multi-hit damage is low, so I don't need to add that. So I think we're all right. This is actually set up for a skill build. Let me see if I have the weapon build. Yeah, I do. Okay, good. I haven't used it in a while, so I don't know if it's optimized, but I like her as where she can explode the air, basically. Okay, let's go into 400%. Legal Ossuary or Magister's Lab. Try this one. Oh, you haven't seen that? I'll be a pool party. There's an actual swimming pool with descendants and swimsuits and like lawn chairs and shit. It's a whole thing they set up for the summer. Yeah. And there's like a slide. There's a water slide you can go down with your descendant. A lot of people running around in bikinis and shit. Super goon. So this one, when you reload, you get an effect. So that's explosions. That is, I think, ice. I think that's electric. So let's lock in there. So you can, with Gley, you can lock in on that status effect, or you can let it rotate. I don't know if I have a core on this. Might be fine. I don't think I've used this as sports. That's crazy, bro. They buffed this big time, guys. There's poison. That's explosions. And you can hold on to one the whole time if you catch the reloads. So if I reload early, stick to explosion. What's next? Ice? What's ice? Yeah, ice is cool. Because it'll hold them still. Shoot it back. Because that's one of Gley's downsides is that she doesn't have good AoE when you're in gun mode. So you need the gun to do the AoE for you. Electricity is cool because you can actually shoot from, it'll reflect off the surfaces. You have to land the shot. I mean, it's better to land the shot, but if you get into a pickle, or if you always want to be shooting and not worry about your accuracy, then that's hip firing right there. poison was the weakest before. They increased their status effect. It's infinite poison. Lingers quite a bit too. Is it? Yeah, it was my favorite gun for a while. Breakthrough. Let's see here. Details. Yeah, so the weak point damage. Let's see here. Attribute, status effect trigger. What did they increase? There was something about attribute damage that they added that wasn't there. Yeah, so I don't even have cores on this. Oh, we should go add a core to this. For sure.
Oh my.
Yeah, let's look at the buffs. %, pulsing 145%. So these were way lower before. And they increased the poison interval. Yeah, let's go put some cores on that. That one's fun. Yeah, the Butte. All the characters look like that, bro. Right. I mean, look around. I'll show you the swimming pool for those of you who haven't seen. I mean, look at these people playing in swimsuits. You can buy swimsuits for the summer events. And, yep, this game makes money. There's the palm pool. You can interact with this. I know. Or if you just want to lounge. Catch some rays. No, definitely not for kids. It's rated, actually. This game's rated. What were we doing over here? Okay. Right. What do we got here? Fire rate would be good. Yeah, that's what we want. Because she's got infinite ammo. That's all it can do is rounds per magazine. Come on. Jesus H. Those are all the same, right? Oh, there's a reload. Finally, something different. I'll get a gold one. Still want that rate of fire though, because she doesn't need the rounds per mag. Do they? I didn't notice that. That's crazy. Strip-a-pole emote, huh? Alright. That's not the best one, but let's hold that for now. And then what is this one? What does the weapon bring? Chill. Chill it is. Oh, gold electric. Oh, they keep giving me the same thing. They're all gold. Got really good luck there. Jesus. Come on, baby. Take it for now. Firepower. Yeah, so we just want flat firearm damage. Perfect. Gold. Beautiful. All right, and then firearm or RPM. Probably RPM. Fortunately, that's going to be the one I don't have a lot of points in. Cool, we'll take the blue stats on that. Good enough for now, we'll upgrade later. There's certain weapons that I feel like only work on her. This is one of them. But maybe that'll change now that it's got more power. Maybe the mag will go further. Otherwise, you feel like you're reloading a lot. Let's try the poison. That'll be new. It lingers for quite a bit, huh? They buffed the fallen hope too, though. Assault rifle. Let's see what we get. Explosions! Spring cleaning. This weapon's fucking crazy. It's fun. It's like not the fastest kill, but it's got good AoE. Right? And she needs that. A lot of people use the rocket launcher on her because of that. I don't know. It's better with the rocket launcher doing it this way. I don't use the rocket launcher though very much. People do it just so they can get the fastest times on things. But, it's not all about time. I'm here for the fight, you know? Good things. Enjoy the destruction. Probably hitting RPM caps. I'm running sharp precision shot. You guys get next. Shock. What up, Grumps? All right. Are you still on the East Coast? You are, right? I think I like the poison and the explosion. I used to use the ice one a lot because it would at least hold them back for her. I think with the damage increase, you don't need to do that. Explosion is pretty badass. Hold on. I dare you hide from me, sir. R&R. What's R&R? Oh, you missed the you know what? The perforator got a serious buff. It feels great. What's the R&R? Restored relic. Got it. I'm not a big. Yeah, that thing I think is really nice, right? Because you don't have to aim it, right? I'm not a launcher fan. But yeah, I noticed the speedrunners like it because they just launch from afar. Don't have to aim. That thing will get them. I have it all maxed out. I just don't use it. What am I doing here? Trying not to die. Oh, yeah, egg breakers. Egg breaker. It's gonna be a good weapon, and I hope for Axion, because you can change the status effect. So if they become immune, you know, you can just keep it rotating. Yeah, I think that's how I'm running it. 3x20. It's fast, right? Yeah. I got 4? 3. 3, yeah. Except, I guess I need to beef that last one up, huh? I'm wondering if this one's hitting the cap. What do you think, Grumpy? You think it's hitting the cap? Oops. Go back. .666 at base. Where's this one at? 967. No, I mean, if this one could get, it's probably not then. Okay. Because the last dagger doesn't hit the cap with 2, and this has got 2 and starts at a lower, so we're probably good. But it's the sharp precision shot that could make it happen. Let me see, what am I running here? Mental focus. Yeah, with the SPS, yeah, I think you're right. I might have to look at this. You know what sucks about all these awesome updates is that you have to like rebuild shit, right? That's kind of annoying. What up, Gio? Yeah, we were talking about that. I don't know if you caught the discussion that we had when we kind of kicked this stream off, but my opinion about Axion so far is that they didn't give us enough to evaluate what it's supposed to be doing. You know, they're giving us a glimpse at the new monsters. They're giving us a glimpse at the new boss monsters. You know, the mini monsters, mini bosses, which are cool. I like those guys. And then the mechanics around the monsters with their nests and all that stuff and blowing up ships. And I feel like it's very centric around Nell and a demonstration of how the new monsters work. Which the new monster thing is important because the game's so fucking easy. We want to see that things are getting on the more challenging side of things for endgame. But like what I agree with you, which is the part that feels like a bummer. I digested it, so the part that felt like a bummer was just like, well, I really need to see if this is gonna give us the content depth, right? Like that this is gonna be, because Sigma Sector is like, when you first played Sigma Sector, it was like, yeah, this is cool, you know, it's got the variables, take a left or a right, and it felt expansive, and then then you just beat the shit out of it and it closes in on you, right? And I feel like it's ultra repetitive and boring, and is at how fast everything gets there eventually, right? Any game, every game gets to that point eventually. Like, I've been playing the Division for 7 years, and you know, the open world, we do that same loop for 7 years, you know? It's other things that make it interesting. Anyways, so but it's a matter of how long can the map buy you before the next content drop, really, right? And is it something they can build on? And we just have no glimpse on that, really. I mean, the hover bike, I kind of don't care. I mean, it's obviously neat, but you know, yay, you know. And the wall crusher, I thought that was a nice preview because it shows what kind of mechanics are going to come along with it. Not super complicated. It's kind of big and slow, which might make it really boring. And then they showed us a little bit of story, so some improvements there. That's a nice glimpse. So it's well-rounded on what they showed us, but they didn't hit the core, which is this going to be the ultimate map? You know, I mean, who even goes into the open world in this game, right? Like Echo Swamp and travel around. I mean, that was all early game stuff. We don't do that anymore, you know? These missions are short and boring and slow. So yeah, I'm with you. But that's where I put my finger on the disappointment. You know, they were showing us details, but what we really want to see is the content depth, and that's a lot. That's a big ask for a demo. I understand that part, you know, but that's why, you know, on a rating of this demo, I'd probably give it like a 4, you know, because that's a lot of energy to put out something that doesn't show us what we're all really looking for. That's basically what my feedback was to them. It's like, yeah, it was great. Nell was great. Excited for Nell, excited for Axion, excited for everything. But like, I didn't get my answer from this demo, you know. But we're weeks away. We'll have our answer, and eventually. Okay. So we got more guns to explore. So we also got the Volsha upgraded. And this thing, the Divine Punishment. Put this here. Oops. I'm wondering, let's see if we can use this in an actual purge. Yeah, it could have been worse, huh? Get a match. I did hit public, right? I haven't done a public one of these. Ever do number solo? The content, a lot of the content's too easy for me to enjoy public for the most part. I mean, Sigma Sector, obviously, you can do it solo, but I just kind of want to get in and out. Man, those spoil boxes just don't drop for me. You know, I run 2 Sigma Sectors a day, every single day, and I don't get them to drop. I know that's not a lot, 2 a day, but shit. That's all I can manage. Put the on the weapon here, actually, so we can try that too. Maybe I don't have any cores on. Let's change that. Hard with only 2 of us. We're gonna get slammed every time somebody dies. It's alright. We're just testing. I don't have the right set up. Yeah. Not enough AoE on her. Yeah, Freyna's crazy strong. You know how you can use her toxic footprints and then stay in the air the whole time? It's just crazy. Everything's dying below you. You never touch the ground. It's strong. She's strong. So I have this set up for her skill build. So in order to go in there with the gun build, I have to take all this out. I haven't been using her in there lately. I don't want to really do that right now. Let's use this dude. Yeah, the Volsha didn't feel strong at all. Do I have... I have cores on it, dude. Damn. Guess it's just gonna be a shield breaker. That's what it does. That's where it stays. Alright. Yeah, it's not super hard actually. It's very easy to understand, but farming it sucks. Basically, for the last like 2.5 months, that's all we've been doing. There's nothing else to do. They dropped a new map, like a new zone where all that drops, and so we've been playing the same zones over and over and over again because it's the most efficient way to level it up. Which is changing next season, but yeah, for the last 2 seasons, last 2 months, that's all we've been doing. They tuned this a lot better, by the way. I like the where it is balance-wise. Yeah, I don't think you have to use the monsters anymore. If there's a meta, somebody's gonna use it. There's not not a lot of fun in this game mode, but the launcher kind of takes whatever's left of the fun out of it. But, you know, that's subjective. Just little old me. Little me and my microphone. Epic is doing good damage with this thing. I'm telling you, it's a good. This weapon is in a good place. He's actually decent though. It's actually better to turn off the special effects so you can see what the hell's going on, but it ruins it for me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see my boom booms. No, Stan. They've done a good job making sure it's not. All the money is in cosmetics. And people spend, man. So they don't need to do the pay to win thing because people spend on those cosmetics like crazy. They're cool. They're cool. I mean, not all of them are super goony. You know, they got some cool cosmetics. Actually, they put out some new ones. Let's take a look. What up, Casey? Yeah, I did a whole review on that, Sean, in the very beginning because I was worried about that because they had a bad reputation from other games on their monetization system, and it wasn't a bad spot for a long time. Like a lot of the game was and they're barely emerging out of it, where a lot of the game was built on the grind, and so the gotcha was the grind was so hard that you would want to pay to get out of it. And what I mean is like Descendants, you could buy the ultimate Descendant. You could just skip the grind and buy it, you know, but everything's free, but they made the grind so painful. It was like, you know, it was, I never did it, but a lot of people would just buy their way out of it. So, but they fixed all of that for the most part. Some things are still really grindy, and so they are constantly tuning it though to spread things out. For the most part, the worst part about the grind in the game now is that some things, and this is changing next season, but right now, some things you can only get from one particular mission. So you have to play that mission over and over again because that thing is something you really want on every Descendant. It's a power-up, and every Descendant needs that power-up. So you're like running it, every Descendant in there like 50 times. And that just kills a mission, you know. Makes it not fun at all. So that's the worst part about the grind right now. But otherwise, I feel like nothing is super hard to get. They got a forgiveness system, whatever you call it. Not a forgiveness system, but whatever you call that. This library. It's called a target reward system, but a pity system is what you call it. So these spoil box are like basically the hardest thing for me to get right now. So I'm relying on that because I don't want to run the mission 20 times a day. So I run the mission 2 times a day, and eventually I get this. And you don't spend them that fast, anyways. But let's look at the shop. I needed to look in there, anyways. So this is where you spend money. It's on skins, cosmetics. You know, so you can buy Descendants if you want to skip the grind, but you don't have to. So premium skins. So 1,000. Basically $10 for these skins, and they're great quality, and there's a lot of them. So that's why I don't think they need to really do pay to win, because it's all here. This is where they're making their money. And then there's theme skins. This is where people are really spending money right now. So that's $7.50, which is a good deal, and for a cosmetic, based on my experience. But these are the new ones that came today, by the way. These are actually pretty hot. Not my style, but I mean, because I just don't want to be fighting. I like tactical gear, I guess. But they're cool, you know. But I just don't want to be fighting in a bunny outfit like that. You know what I mean? Like in a little Playboy bunny outfit. I just don't want to be doing that. But the quality's there, and there's the jiggle physics, right? And so the reality to it is quality. And this is what's driving the financials of the game. So $7.50 is at a price point where you can spend a lot of money on cosmetics. Because you're like, oh, $7? Oh, that's easy. You know, that's easy, man. That's like a cheeseburger, right? And yeah, next thing you know, you spend all your money. But some of these are crazy, right? I mean, look at this. She's fucking naked, right? So, I mean, they're cute bikinis. That's cute. The green one's super cute. And I don't mind them being in the game. It does, from like a, sexuality perspective, that doesn't bother me. The Gooner part doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is the immersion part, right? Like, I don't want to be fighting a mission along some dude in his fucking boarding shorts. You know what I mean? Like, we're taking on alien baddies, and he's fighting in his fucking flip-flops. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part that I don't like about it. I like the more tactical side of the game, and so that's why, it's just not really my style, but I don't really have any problems with that. But the price points are good. I mean, way better than the Division. I play the Division, and the price points in the Division are fucking crazy, man. They'll charge you $30 for one of these skins. $30. This skin would be $30 for a skin only, right? And some of these bundles, like this is a hair skin and a body skin, and then you can customize it. So everything's customizable too. So you're buying that if you want to, but they give so much for free, bro. I don't buy anything when it comes to the customization. They if you're playing this game, they're throwing shit at you, And so all my favorite characters I'll buy, but I'm not just gonna buy just because they're cool. I got to be using the character a lot. Like for Sharen, like I purchased her main one, the Predator outfit. This one was free. Her naughty maid outfit. It's actually pretty cool. I like it. I run it. And then this one is a mix, but the one with their helmet I bought. But the customization is pretty expansive. You can customize weapons and your gear. So you can change your colorway. And then you can do it on the helmet too. You could not wear a helmet if you wanted to. You could go different styles up top. Or you could go naughty maid style. I thought I had a blonde one around. That one. Here's her maid one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, long hair. But I'm all about the helmet. Wherever it went. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so that's fun. And then you got your fellows too, and you can customize them also. And then these guys actually give different benefits. This one gives you more ammo, and they retrieve gear. They pick up gear for you. And then the other one heals you. There's another one that heals you. Next season, we're getting a husky. Yeah, Ubisoft is fucking greedy. Did you hear the latest shit that they were tossing out there? They were saying that, like, gamers need to stop being so fucking sensitive. That's why games are getting ruined. Something like that. These guys are nuts. They're better off just not saying shit, you know? Okay, let's look at our mission lineup. So we got to clear an intercept battle, complete Sigma sector, and then we're almost done with the missions. But these are valuable to do. These tokens allow you to basically a currency for a vendor. Okay. Cosmetic things or gold, in-game currency. All right, what am I running here? So we got to take on a boss. No, not that one. This one. Check this off the list. No? Oh, that's about. That used to be hard back in the day. To spend 5 minutes fighting those things back in the day. And then it got to a minute, and then they got to 10 seconds, and then they got to 1 second. Then the half a second. Now you wonder, like, why do we even have them? Well, and we do that because we have to crack open our patterns so that we have resources to level up our characters. But it makes it a boring activity. Okay, let's switch over to Ajax real quick so I can switch over to.
Let me tell you how I managed to come back from the blue.
I'm slowly working on Jaber. Every day I run just a couple of missions with them.
The most important things on
Where's
the
he?
battlefield.
Where'd you go, Jaber? Oh, there you go.
Commencing turret synchronization operation.
So what I'm doing is leveling up my arcade tuning. So when they rework him, because we're gonna get that soon, on August 7th, his kit's gonna be different. That I'll at least have all this unlocked. And so I'm not using any of the boosters. I'm just running 2 missions at a time. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to spending my 10,000 boosters. One day. Yeah, I gotta do Kyle too. I think he's next. Maybe I might have done Eugen. I might have saved Eugen. We got time before we have to worry about Eugen. Because his ultimate doesn't come out for a while, right? But
This is HQ. Troops are on the ground. Transport is en route to standby position. Best of luck, Descendants.
Bring it.
Descendant. Enemy troops are being transferred in large numbers.
so what I'm basically doing is I'm enhancing his skills with that lightning gun. That's what it does. It hurts the enemies too, so double-edged sword. They didn't buff the secret garden worth a damn. Still not going to be a shooter. Still a stats thing. Oh, we just glitched. Wow, that hasn't happened in a long time. New patches, new bugs. That's a shitty mission to glitch on. Because it's boring. You know, there's some diehard Kyles out there. People that really like that dude. Because I asked people, like, what are they going to upgrade first next season? Got some of those people saying, Kyle. and not glitch.
This is HQ. Troops are on the ground. Transport is en route to standby position. Best of luck, Descendant.
That's a specialized Vulgus aircraft. It can fly through void storms. If you're gonna shoot it down, do it now. Hurry!
See, his skills just don't even make sense for half these missions. Redeploy for this simple task. Dumb. Easier to just not use his skills in a lot of cases. Which is also dumb because he's a skill player.
Deploying arcade. I am the original.
Hound actual.
Requesting transport support.
They do a really good job with their special effects in this game. Something I appreciate. And they constantly sneak in updates to it too. You'll notice it's just getting enhanced a little at a time. 96% on that. Okay, now we got to do the other one. So every time you do those, you get a couple of points you can spend, and you got to get to 40 to cap it out. Which is why it's a grind. You can cut it down by about 30%, but doesn't feel like a lot. Look at that.
Sound action. Reporting
Got two
extreme
Enzos.
concentrations of void energy within the operation zone. All units.
He got a buff for his mobbing capabilities,
Do
but
not exceed your
I don't know. I like Enzo too, but I just didn't see him killing it.
Operating assault turret.
Specialized Vulgus aircraft detected. That aircraft is used to fly through void zones.
Just take care of that.
Shut
I'm
down.
busy. Come here, Space Ninja.
Tactical transport en route to the Descendant's position.
All
Air
male
support
squad. You
available.
got Eugen,
Danger close. I repeat, danger close.
two Enzies. Lessons to love. Enzos, yeah.
Mission complete. Transport inbound. See you soon.
right, that part's over. That's basically my routine every day. So I do 2 of those. I do 1 boss fight. And then the little I like doing a couple of purge runs just to stretch my legs. Then otherwise I do 2 or 3 missions because they give you tokens. It's all about the rewards that they give you. So we can get rid of him, but we'll spend his points. Power ups. See what our mission choices are for the day. Oh, that was a while back, yeah. They made her a lot easier to get to. Oh, so you missed Inez and Serena. Well, those are major game changers. They make Haley feel like shit. Nobody uses Haley anymore, and she was super exciting, right? She feels underwhelming now because of these other descendants that are just... It's not that she's not strong. It's just that, you know, that's slow. The fact that she's slow. Yeah. Yeah, she needs dropping energy. Oh, there's some. God, never get that mob right. Come here.
Damn it. Unseen.
Fuck that up. Got them all spread out. I think after the weapon update, they're gonna have to. Somebody's still alive. Go back after the skills again. That's funny. It's like a constant battle. We'll see. I mean, Sigma's supposed to be harder, where balancing I think is going to be easier. Because the enemies won't be such cheese balls, trashy ads. Yeah, that's right. Basically, it's some maintenance, right, Grumpy? Maintenance. I enjoy the game. There's just nothing to do, right, without the new content. I want to play more. But I put in my hour, basically. Sometimes a little bit more. I feel like purging. Like, if you're new to this game, this could look fun and exciting. And it's not bad content, it's just that it's so easy. Like, I'm on autopilot. And the sweaty dudes are playing this shit like over and over and over again to try to like beat their last time by a millisecond, you know? If you're into that, then you'll get more mileage out of this stuff, but you know, I'm looking for a really good fight, right? Not the blur through the game, so to speak. And these were harder at some point, and then it's become easier and easier and easier and easier. God, at first, man, some of these are really hard, right? Not like really hard, but like you run this with a team and people be going down and shit. Because of the poison and the ads, and you get blown up on. Boy, has the game come a long ways, huh? And then what another portion of the community is basically doing to stay busy is they'll just keep upgrading the same build over and over again, you know, tinkering. But we're at like a point where it's at a finite level. It doesn't really matter, you know. So you're upgrading your build to to make it stronger, but then you have to spend resources, but it's all kind of unnecessary. It's like, well, why do I even need it stronger? It's already so strong. Like, you know, I can do it that way and play into a particular mechanic, but I'm already slaughtering all the content. It's just like, I don't want to grind another catalyst on this and change up the build just so I'm not even gonna be able to notice. That's how I feel about it. But some people will do it anyways, but what sucks is that what doesn't motivate me to do that really is that then they'll add something to the game and then you have to regrind that build out anyways. Because you're like, well, now it's been overhauled, or now this weapon is no longer good. I'm gonna switch to a different weapon, which means I'm gonna want to run more duration or blah. Okay, I need to look. Complicated, right? It's complicated for them to manage that. Okay, so I'm gonna change out of this build and then go to. Wait, is that the build I was playing the whole time? No. No, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it's a live service thing and it's a quality control thing. The drip thing is also, they're using best practices from software development, where software as a service, you know, SaaS, where, you know, you want to get your beta out there and, you know, get some feedback on it, improve it. And gamers, no, we don't always like that method, right? It's smart, but it's just like, but it draws out the fun part. You know, it's like, well, I also just want to kick ass and take names. So can we just get to full amp here, right here, please? Yeah, Sharon's fun. She's my predator. But yeah, I mean, you can go way faster with Serena. When I use Serena, though, I feel like I just skipped the whole fight. You know, I feel like I skipped it. I think I'm gonna like Nell though. Because she's gonna be a hybrid, and I like the hybrids like Sharen. You should see her the way I have her skill tree set up. Her archetype. Her skills are so strong that you don't really need to build into skill damage, which is cool. So I have her arcade mostly into weapon damage, reload speed. You're up there.
Shields are down. Entering stealth.
Oh, I didn't hit you. You're right there.
Unseen. You won't find me. Shields are down.
Speed that one up. Oh, that one too. Fuck.
You won't find me.
You survived that. I'm back. Little Operation Human Shield. Can't wait to see what external components they give us next season. There's one tailored for just for Nell. hard shot. Big ass shoulder pads.
Initiating stun.
Alright, just keep it simple. Yeah, I think the perforator got a nice upgrade. I bet you Gley will fucking destroy with that too. Yeah, it's right when you start up. But make sure if you haven't downloaded the patch or whatever, maybe it's not there. What up, Snow? Doing good. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to take a lunch, take a little bit of break, and then get back with you in the PM. Can you believe it's Thursday already? Jesus. Probably switch over to the division for the evening. And I don't remember what we got for an agenda, but I guess we'll figure it out then. And then I'll put out my feedback on this stuff too, so stay tuned for that. And I will catch you guys later.